What is good, YouTube? What is good, Facebook? Welcome into the show once again. LastWord Productions. I'm your host Tavares Wilson. As you all know, if you do not know by now, I always get the last word. So my bad yesterday, guys. Things came up yesterday, so had to delay the show till today. But regardless, again, the episode this week. A lot has happened since the last episode transpired, so we got to get into it. So before we get into any of that, though, be sure to like, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Be sure to hit comment. Excuse me. Be sure to comment whenever we talk about anything that you want us to discuss or expand upon things we are discussing. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Last Productions, the handle all over. So if you ever want to find me anywhere else but YouTube, other than YouTube, I should say, just look at Last Productions. 9 out of 10 times I'm on the platform. So with all that being said, man, as we all know, before I get into basketball, there's a lot of basketball stuff that's going on. I want to close out with that stuff. And I want to say this first and foremost about the NFL draft. I, for one, I've said this multiple times on my TikTok. I've said this multiple times on my YouTube, whatever, but gotta say it here, man. Oh, hold on, we got someone joining up. Got my boy Breeze in the building. What's up, my boy? How you feeling?
What's good, bro? What's good?
That's
Sorry,
what's
running a
up.
little late, but I'm here.
For sure. Appreciate always tuning in, my boy. But since you here, my boy, I'm gonna go ahead and let you chime in first, man. So I was just about to get ready to go off on the draft, like what happened in the NFL draft, since we never really spoke about it on the show. Yeah, we had the watch along, but we didn't speak about it on the show. So what was your thoughts on the draft and anything that stood out to you other than the obvious, which we're gonna get into?
The draft was pretty solid, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. The like you remember I told you I thought the Patriots would probably go Ted McMillan or probably try to squeeze in and double down on Travis Hunter if possible or maybe Abdul Carter, but they took Will Campbell, which you can never have too much protection for your quarterback, and obviously like him being unanimous number one, offensive lineman in this draft. It was a very smart move for the future, protecting Drake May. And they also grabbed what's the running back they grabbed? The one was it from North Carolina or was he from Ohio State? I'm trying to remember
Nah,
which
it's the
one.
one. It's Trey. You talking about Trey Von Burton, something like that?
Yeah, the Patriots drafted, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
so they
Traylon Burks. He from Ohio State.
okay. Yeah, so they went pretty solid with their skill positions. Got Drake made some more help, because last year Ramondre Stevenson he had his ups and downs, but there were more downs than ups. You get me? So you add more depth to your running back room. I like what the Patriots did in the draft. I love what my Colts did. I was praying that we got Tyler Warren because I feel like that's the an intricate piece in Anthony Richardson's development. Like somebody's got to be there to catch those intermediate routes. And for my view of it, Tyler Warren was the best tight end in the draft. Colston Loveland, he's no slouch, but Tyler Warren's my tight end one. But I'm glad we got him. Um, the Giants, shored up that defense. They added more firepower to that defense, which they're gonna need. And I think the draft was pretty good, bro. The draft was like, for the most part, it was pretty good. I can't complain.
Yeah, I think the first time in a long time, I will say this. I don't think really any team had a terrible, just downright terrible draft. I think every team, some didn't do well as others. I'm not gonna sit and say everyone won the draft because that will never be the case. But I don't think no team just absolutely bombed it like how other teams in the past have. So that to me is a good thing, and I think a lot of that speaks to the fact that this draft was riddled with talent. It was so many pieces falling to the third and fourth rounds, and it just panned out a lot of ways for a lot of teams. Now, with all that being said, I gotta mention this because I just think it's an absolute travesty what happened to Shadur Sanders. I'm gonna be honest. I told people this from the jump street. Shador Sanders was number one quarterback in this draft class. I thought he was the best quarterback coming in. I I still do believe that. I'm not sure if he'll get a starting job, as I believe he deserves a chance to this coming season. But I do think he was given the short end of the stick on multiple occasions throughout the draft night and throughout the process of the draft. And the reason I say that is because when you got guys like Tyler Shook, you got what's my boy name from from Oregon, Dylan Gabriel, I believe,
Hmm.
Gabriel, something like that. I mean, we talking about guys. We talking about one guy who's a 7-year college veteran, and we got another guy who was absolutely terrible against decent competition. So I mean, it just doesn't make sense that someone like these two went before him, and then we all know how I feel about Jackson Dart. I mean, listen, man, I don't see the the awe of talent like how you would have took a gamble on someone like Josh Allen, Anthony Richardson. Like these guys are supreme athletes at the quarterback position. You take flyers on them because if you could make them work, it would work. But my problem is that well, you can hear me, right?
Yeah, I get you, bro.
All right, I was just making sure. But my problem is that there's nothing that Jackson Dart does special. I mean, hell, even if you look at Daniel Jones, you could make an argument Daniel Jones is a better athlete than Jackson Dart, and he wasn't a special athlete. Jackson Dart is a bigger body. You know, he may be a little bit more elusive, so he'll probably escape a little more sacks here and there. But does he have that much of a stronger arm? Is he that much faster? Is he that much more accurate? I don't think so. In fact, if you ask me my opinion, I think he's less accurate, and I don't think he's nearly as has the arm strength. I don't think there's nothing special. So for them to move up and take Jackson Dart over Shadur Sanders was absolutely mind-boggling to me. But I mean, cool, whatever. But at the end of the day, I feel like Shadur Sanders giving the short end of the stick, and I feel like honestly speaking, man, I think the league put on notice to a lot of people that this isn't what y'all believe it is. This isn't just for entertainment, shits and giggles. It's a business at the end of the day. And for a guy in Shadur Sanders to have his, you know, his the aura about himself and his like the bravado he has, I think that rubbed a lot of owners the wrong way. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and say Prime didn't set him up in some ways because he did. He sat there and said he wanted his son to go to certain teams. When you do that, you pretty much rule out a lot of people, and you can't bite the hand that feeds you. But at the same time, falling in the fifth round of the draft as the undisputed top two quarterback prospect, or some people one quarterback prospect in the draft, is absurd. It's something I've never seen. I don't think it's something anyone has ever seen. So I mean, it was a crazy situation all around. But you got anything you want to say about that, bro? Before we move on?
Yeah, with the you remember? I don't know if you remember. A while back, I was up like I still am. I was pretty high on Jackson Dart. I don't know if you remember. I threw it in, spoken into existence. The reason I think he went so high, and you may not be as high, but he does have a cannon of an arm. He has a huge arm, and he's very mobile, very elusive, and he's a play extender, but to a positive degree. I say that because you will rarely see him. There's quarterbacks that run backwards to extend plays. He's more of the if it's there, I'm gonna push it, even if it's to a fault. But if it's there, I'm gonna push it, and if not, I'm gonna break away and try to run and get these yards. I think the knock on Shadur is the backwards scrambling and a lot of the sacks that he takes. Granted, he did have a pretty bad offensive line, but taking a lot of those sacks and a lot of negative yardage that he takes didn't help his case in that aspect. And with Jackson Dart going to the Giants, if you look back, Jackson Dart, his game is a lot like Josh Allen's. He does have a Josh Allen type game, and Brian Daboll has had his most success with Josh Allen. So I think bringing Jackson Dart into a quarterback room that's featuring two veterans in Russell Wilson and James Winston. Now Jackson Dart can possibly sit maybe 6 7 weeks and learn. Get better mechanics, like learn the game from a different standpoint, from a Lane Kiffin coach perspective. Now he's going from Lane Kiffin to Brian Daboll. Brian Daboll can mold that, because I think he's still pretty much, even though he's a 4 year college player, he showed improvement every year. Last year he was like 33 touchdowns and like 4,300 yards in the SEC, which is like the best conference in college football. So it's things to build on. There's a lot of good intangibles in the kid. He's a humble kid. He's not a brash guy. His teammates seem to rally around him and everything. So I think the groundwork is there. Now, you didn't necessarily spend an extremely high pick on him, because you got him in the 20s and you got Abdul Carter, at the higher point. So you got, mainly what you need in the division that you're in, which is the NFC East, to compete with all the other teams. Because with loaded offenses like Philly, even Dallas with Dak, CD, for what it's worth, that offense is still like pretty explosive. And with the Commanders with an explosive offense, you need a defense to stop it. So you got your Abdul Carter, you got Kayvon Thibodeau, you got Dexter Lawrence, you got all that going to shore up defenses and put pressure on those offenses. And then you got your quarterback of the future, if you mold and shape him the right way. With Shador, I tell people all the time, people are saying, oh, it's collusion. They didn't want him because he's black, he's this, he's this. I said, look, I'm going to be real with y'all. He didn't do himself any favors, to improve his draft stock. I tell people all the time, he wasn't a can't miss prospect in his draft. I didn't think there were any can't miss quarterback prospects in his draft, but not participating in certain exercises on the pro day, not doing certain things, and giving very smug answers when asked questions about, like, when they do film evaluation, right? There were
Mhm.
reports, they would show him like lowlights of plays that he missed, or bad reads and stuff, and they show it to him, and he get pissed off about it, like he's like, yeah, like he just like brush him off, when they're not doing that to spite you. You get me? They do it to everybody. Like,
Where, where
even
did where
John,
did you where did you see this?
there were report, like, it came out. It was a bunch of reports, bro. I should have sent them to the chat, but
I
it's
mean,
like,
I seen some people talking about that too, man. But I don't buy into that stuff. I'm not gonna lie to
I
you.
mean, I'm like I said, like I said, it's like, for what is worth, bro. I believe, like, he looks like the type of guy.
Mhm.
Hey, man, it happened. It is what it is. But what did I do right? Like, you just, which is not a bad thing. But he's not
Okay.
doing himself any favors when you're basically going to sell yourself for a job, and you go in there, and it's kind of like you're laying down your own groundwork. Look, man, you already got the notion. Hey, I don't want to go here. I'm not going here. It's certain places I'm not gonna play for. I'm not gonna run the 40. I'm not gonna throw. He's basically overplayed his hand, bro. Really, really, I think that's why he dropped. And people need to realize that, hey, it doesn't matter, black, white, whatever you are. No one's bigger than the program. The NFL is not begging you to come play, because they're gonna sell tickets without you. The NFL doesn't need to sell itself to you. The NFL was here before you. Is going to be here after you. So I just think, moving forward, with everything, people should take notes. If you're going to if you're going to take that Shador route, or you're going to take that route that Prime was trying to get him to take, make sure you do it, and make sure you do everything to have your draft stock at an absolute high, or do it after you get drafted.
Yeah, well, I get what you're saying, but I just simply disagree. I think we've seen plenty of quarterbacks do what Shador Sanders did, and they did more. I mean, we can talk about Eli Manning. I mean, you pay attention to the Mannings. I know you're a Peyton guy. Eli literally told the Chargers he's not coming to LA, and he still was a first round pick. No team was deterred from him because he was telling them one program, or let me not say program, this business. one establishment that he didn't want to be there. That didn't deter everyone else from him. They just simply said, you know what? Okay, cool. We'll draft you. We'll move you. Johnny Manziel goes out. He gets in illegal trouble. Same thing with Baker Mayfield. They get in trouble with authorities. These are still guys who go early. Baker Mayfield, first round pick. Jameis Winston, he robbing stores and shit. I get it. He only took minute shit, minuscule things. But Shador Sanders, can we even find a fucking speeding ticket? I mean, people, are we saying he's not being drafted or he wasn't getting looked at or his stock went down because he didn't work out at the combine or he didn't run a 40? Plenty of prospects do that every year. And that's on top of the fact that we see plenty of prospects quite literally be not prospects, excuse me. We see plenty of quarterbacks be arrogant, have this kind of, macho mentality about themselves that people say that they want from their quarterbacks, and that's what he has. So I mean, at the end of the day, man, I mean, listen, we could sit here and say what these what is that? Hold on.
Yeah, nah, but just like just piggybacking on what you said, T. The only thing I would say is that there are similar instances, but keep in mind that with the whole Eli Manning thing, Arch Manning said he wasn't going to L.A. Now he said he wasn't going to L.A. in particular. Prime put out the tweet. There's certain teams I won't allow him to go to. There's certain situations. At
Yeah,
least
yeah,
Arch,
yeah.
at least
That
Arch
that
said it's
definitely
just
didn't do him no favor.
yeah. At least Arch said that's one team that he's not going to. Prime said there's teams he's not going to. Teams are not going to call up Prime. Hey, would you mind if we take our son? Do you mind if we take your son? Because at the end of the day, you're not getting Prime time to go out there on the field. You're getting Shador. So he put himself in a bad situation, even worse right there by saying teams plural with an S. And
I
honestly,
mean,
T,
but at
how
the end
many
of the
teams
day,
this
we
year
all
needed a
know how it
quarterback,
is.
bro? But how many teams this year
I,
needed a quarterback, bro? The Titans,
a
the
lot,
Saints,
a lot
the
needed a
Steelers,
quarterback.
the Giants, maybe six, 7 teams at most.
That's a lot.
And
That's a
and
lot
think
of
about it,
teams.
bro. And think about it, bro. If I'm Kevin Stefanski, I'm gonna draft this kid early. I'm gonna draft this kid early, and if it doesn't work out, do I have to worry about them trying to bring in Prime to fix a mistake because I drafted a kid first round early? If I'm Brian Dayball, if it doesn't work out, do I have to worry about like, bro? It's so much nonsense that came with it, bro.
But that's
Like
any first round pick
exactly, bro. But
quarterback though. That
it
I
wouldn't
don't
have.
think we should label that like a primarily him issue, like or that's
But
something that comes. That's the you know the territory that comes with him. No, I think whenever any coach, any GM drafts a first round quarterback that does not work, your job will be in jeopardy. Period. It doesn't matter who you draft. Just like
yeah,
when the Giants and Jackson Dart and this shit they got going on don't work, Dayball will be fired because like I said the same shit when they extended Daniel Jones. Dayball is going to find a way to save his job. He gonna get Daniel Jones out the building. After I said multiple times on TikTok and YouTube, they shouldn't have extended him. They did, and this is where they are now. Just like I'm saying, they shouldn't have drafted Jackson Dart. When it does not work, and this is nothing against Jackson Dart because I listen, he may very well so go on to be a hell of a player. I hope he does. I hope all these dudes who got drafted plays well throughout their career. But at the end of the day, if we're talking the numbers and the film, there's nothing on the film that suggested he was any more deserving or even should have been thought about being a first round pick. He was never projected to be that. On top of the fact, nothing showed that. I get that you said you like the intangibles. He's a little more elusive. He got arm strength. I don't see no rocking arm. Me, when I watch him play, I don't see that shit. I see a good enough arm that he has zip on the ball. I will give him that. But he doesn't give me the Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen-esque kind of arm strength. He's more of a let me who if I had to compare it. I mean, hell, I just said a pretty good example to me. He more of a Daniel Jones. Good deep ball, could make every throw, but it's not special. It's not a special arm talent he has. It's good. It ain't special. It's Deshaun Watson. It's not special. It's good.
Damn,
So
bro, you
I think if you're
disrespectful,
if you're
man.
if you're moving, and I get they only drafted him at 26, I think it was, but they gave up draft capital in order to move back up in the first round to get him. So they still gave up more than just a 26 pick. So when you do that, you're banking on this to work, and it's just I don't think it's gonna work. I don't see that happening. But like I said, I'd be wrong. We'll see.
No, I mean they got a pretty good foundation laid out. Like I said, they got two vets. You get me? I don't know. Tommy DeVito is just there for the ride, but they got
Yeah,
Jameis Winston and
I'm
Russell
surprised
Wilson.
he might get cut.
Yeah, they got Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson. For what it's worth, you can learn a lot from Russell. I think his play style is pretty online with Russell Wilson's.
Yeah,
That
it's
play
similar.
style. Yeah, he can learn a
Yeah,
lot from Russell Wilson. He can learn a lot from Jameis. In these 2 years, I know Jameis is on a 2 year deal. Russell is on a one. So let's say Russell starts, and let's say maybe week 6 or 7, God forbid Russell gets an injury or something, he's just playing bad. Then you put him in. So it's not like a instantly you have to feet to the fire, get it done. It's going to be a learning curve. Like I said, he's still a pretty raw prospect as well. Like I said, I didn't see any clear cut, ready pro style quarterbacks in this draft. Other than, I wouldn't even necessarily say Cam Ward is definitive ready, only because of the situation he's going to, bro. I still think there's things that he can learn, and improve on. But going to Tennessee, there's no doubt he's going to be a starter. But for what it's worth, they got a pretty good setup moving forward. It all depends on how they manage it, bro. Really, honestly, and I think Shador is in a great situation as well, going to Cleveland.
yeah. I mean, I think all truth be told, I think all three quarterbacks are in pretty much solid situations. I think Tennessee is in a situation that's not terrible, but it's not great. But they're the first overall pick team for a reason. It's going to be hiccups, but I
Facts.
don't think it's one of the worst situations we've ever seen. So I think it's okay. I
Could have
think
been the
the Giants,
Jaguars.
yeah, Jaguars, yeah. I think the Giants have a damn. They will have a damn good defense, but it comes down to what you're gonna get from the offense. I mean, you got Malik Neighbors. I get it. You feel me? Darius Slayton. I mean, he just got an extension. I don't know what you're getting out of him at this point. You Jalen Hyatt. I mean, they've been waiting for seeing for 2 years. So the offensive line still needs some work. The tight end non-existent at this point. I mean, ever since they got rid of Evan Ingram, as if he was a problem. But I mean, I guess so. And I will give them this though. They got a pretty good rookie running back from last season. My boy, who I forgot the former receiver, but
Tyrone Tracy.
yeah, Tyron Tracy. Yeah, pretty damn good player.
He
So
just
they
fumbled
got
too
they got.
much.
You said what?
He fumbles too much.
Yeah, he do got a fumble issue. You got to work on that. He do. But they got two pretty solid skill positions. But other than that, I don't really see their offense being anything to look twice at. But
Yeah, true.
they got something to kind of build a foundation and identity of their team. Just like how the Browns
Definitely.
kind of have somewhat of a foundation as well. But the problem is if they're expecting, because this is the problem, and this is why I have such a concern with not a concern, let's batch the words, but this is why I have an issue with the Giants pick. They moved up for this guy. They moved back up into the first round. They gave up multiple picks to do so. If when you do things like that, you have to be right. Like regardless of who you take, it has to work. And if it does not, that's fireable offenses across the board. The general manager, the coach, the assistants, the you feel me, the water boys, the towel boy, whoever. That's fireable offenses because now you're banking on this dude to work out who's an unproven prospect at this point and who still is just a raw talent. So it's like at what point do we say, man, hey man, maybe these guys just not as good at the job that we thought they were. Because it's like at the end of the day, man, if you're taking Jackson Dart, to me, you take him third, fourth round. You take him there. I mean, that's just me. I mean, second round would have been cool, but third, I mean, 26 overall. they banking on the man a lot, man, and that's my thing about it. It's like if you're going to gamble that, you got to be sure about what you're getting out of the player. And even if you don't think Shador Sanders is special, because he's not special. But do I think he could come in and be better than Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston? Yes, I think he could come in and be better than both of them week one if you give him decent talent. I think you can give him that. I don't think Jackson Dart can be as good as Russell Wilson. I don't think he may be as good as Jameis Winston because he just is not. He's not there to me. He's just not.
Fair take, fair take, fair take. And so we'll see it. We'll see how it goes, bro. We'll definitely see how it goes.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. We're gonna see how it goes for sure. But let's get off. Let's get off into the next topic I want to talk about, and that's the winner and losers of the draft. And we're gonna do both conference, bro. So you go ahead. You let me know what team, in your opinion, won the draft or had the best draft, quote unquote, out of the AFC and the NFC. You can pick one team, or if you want to say multiple, you can.
For the AFC, for me, like I said, it's definitely um the Patriots. Like I give it I give it to them, hands down, the Patriots, just because for the simple fact that they addressed a lot of needs, and I like with the way the top picks kind of shifted. Like I didn't expect Cleveland to trade out of the second pick.
Mhm.
I expected them to take Abdul Carter and then Hunter dropped to the third, or technically I expected them to go that way. But then when the whole draft lineup shifted, I was like, okay, if Hunter's off the board, where are they gonna go? 'Cause I didn't think the Giants would take Abdul. You remember, I thought the Giants would take Dart or Shadur third. So when the Giants took Abdul Carter, I'm like, okay, damn, this is getting interesting. So for the
Mm.
Patriots to go all in and then they draft offensive lineman, which is he's pretty much touted as generational at this point. The only knock on him they had on him was his arm length or
Yeah, his
arm
arm
size or
length,
something like
which
that.
I think is just fucking stupid. If
Yeah,
I ain't even
it's
cut you
pretty.
off.
It is stupid.
I
It
think
is
that's
pretty
dumb.
stupid.
Like, can he play? That's what we should care about. Like
Like
that
when
stuff be dumb to me.
when you look at it, they fixed, like, in the span of a year, bro. They fixed the coaching situation. Drake
Yeah,
May is their guy. They're going all in on Drake May. You
he could play,
draft a
man. He
generational.
proved me wrong last year. He could play.
Hell yeah. I thought him coming out of UNC, I thought he was just like one of just, just a product of the,
Yeah,
I didn't think he was all it, but he showed he got game
yeah,
and he got grit.
yeah. I didn't think he was gonna be bad or nothing, but he's a lot better than what I thought he was gonna be after 1 year. I thought he was gonna be
Definitely.
like one of those 2 3 year guys to get it figured out. Nah, he hit the ground running, man. He played well with some pretty bad damn talent.
For sure. For sure, for sure. For them to shore up that offensive line, they get them now. I think the running back that they drafted, I think he's gonna be running back one now. I
Hmm.
think
Even
Stevenson,
after them paying Ramondre
he's,
Stevenson though.
yeah, honestly, yeah, because Ramondre is too up and down, and he's had fumbling problems, and I think he's gonna shift more to that role of catching out of the backfield, because that running back that they drafted, he's pretty good in blitz pickup. He's pretty good in pass protection. He's a solid all around back, bro. And
Yeah,
the
Trayvon
window for
Henderson.
running
Yeah,
backs, the window for running backs is literally, it's an odd window because they hit the ground running. They don't, it's not like, okay, give them a few years to develop or nothing like that. They draft a running back. They expect you to come in and get to it immediately. So I think before his rookie contract expires, he's gonna run Ramondre Stevenson out of the building. I think Stevenson is gonna be there for like maybe, you know, I think they may, depending on his durability, they may run like a two back system the way they did in Detroit with Gibbs and Montgomery. But I
yeah. I think
think
they're gonna run a 2 back system.
yeah, but I think the lion's share of the carries is gonna go to the back that they just drafted. And I think he just fits more into that or with what the Patriots have aligned moving forward, man. Just everything that he brings to the table. And for the NFC, let me see the best draft in the NFC. I have to say there were a lot of stinkers in the NFC, man. Like I was disappointed in the Niners. Um, let me see. I think the Eagles, the linebacker they drafted. How the hell do the Eagles keep getting all these elite defensive players at the
I
end of the
don't know,
draft, bro?
man. It's like what's his name? The Eagles GM name? What's his name?
Howie.
Yeah, Howie Roseman. There we go. It's like he do witchcraft or something because I don't know how he just keep lucking up every damn year on these prospects and players. I mean, from Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith. Now, now you got another. What's the linebacker?
Zach
Walker
Bond.
that they just drafted.
Oh yeah, they
Dude
got
out of
Walker.
Bama.
Still got Zach Bond. Zach Bond could be a
So
mentor.
it's like, man, I don't know how they be looking up, man. I really don't.
I think them like just outside looking in. I think the Eagles wanted for the NFC because yeah, like I said, like you strengthen one of your strengths, and then now even with Zach Bond as an older linebacker, you got him on contract now, and now you can. I'm not saying like minimize his role, but you can preserve him to an extent. While he mentors your future. You get me? And the offense is gonna be the offense because ain't too much change on the offense for the Eagles. But they lost Slay, they lost Darius Slay. But they're high on Cooper DeJean and everything else that they got going on in the secondary. Plus they boosted their linebacker room. The defensive line was already stacked. So yeah, I
Yeah,
think the Eagles and the Giants, for what it's worth, like I said, they did their thing. They got a, a, I wouldn't say if there's a tier under generational, then Abdul Carter is there. Like I don't put the generational tab on everybody. You get me? Like I think Abdul
yeah.
Carter is great, but I don't think he was Micah Parsons
You
at
don't
Penn
you don't
State. You
think
get me?
Travis Hunter generational?
No, no, I'm saying like yeah, but for Jacksonville, bro, Jacksonville is a complete shit show. Travis Hunter cannot go in there and change it by itself. It's gonna take maybe 2, 3 more drafts for them to turn that around over there. But like I don't put
Yeah,
the
I
generational
don't.
tab
I agree. I agree.
I don't put the generational tab on everybody. So if there's a tier under generational, then Abdul Carter is there, and then you line him up with Kayvon Thibodeau, with Dexter Lawrence, with everything that they got going on there in that division. That's gonna at least now they're projected. Okay, now they can fight with Dallas for third and possibly give the Commanders help depending on how Jaden Daniel looks in his sophomore season. Is there going to be a slump? We'll see. We know Eagles going to be number one in that division, but just having that sharp defense, having that defensive presence, having veteran quarterback play, and Malik Neighbors is going to be a star. Like we was just talking, like the team is set to start moving forward again. There's not going to be the laughing stock Giants like the past couple seasons. I think they can compete with Dallas for that third spot and maybe even give the Commanders hell. I know the Commanders are going to be good, but depending on sophomore slumps how they go, they can fight. Like they can be gritty. So I think yeah, AFC is the Patriots, NFC is the Eagles and the Giants.
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't disagree with that. For one, I agree with you on the Patriots. I think the Patriots. If I had to pick a team, and it's sickening to me as a Dolphin fan to say this, but if I had to pick a team who just won the night, I think the answer is the Patriots. I don't think the Patriots did anything wrong in this draft. You got Trayvon Henderson, which I don't believe he will be an every down back because he is more of a role of a third down specialist. He's a very good pass catcher. He can run in between the gaps, but he's not. That's not his. You feel me? That's not his lunchbox and pan kind of you feel me mentality or his skill set. He's more of a guy that's get out in space, make people miss. He's more of a if I had to compare him to anyone, Devon A. Chain, like that's his style of play. He can do it, but if you're gonna ask him to be an every down back, I think the season's gonna be a long one for him. So I think Ramondre gonna still keep a starting job. But the picks that impressed me, I thought them getting Kyle Williams was a good damn pick. I think Kyle Williams is an underrated receiver prospect in this past
Mm.
draft, and I thought he was someone who can eventually become a pretty damn good slot receiver and someone who can become that chain mover for them almost. So I think them getting him was good. They got a lot of good depth, man. I mean, they went out and got more interior lineman help. They went out and as you said earlier, Will Campbell. They got a guy who many look at who would have been a generational prospect if it wasn't for his arm length issue, which is again,
Stupid.
in my opinion, just stupid. Like to be frank about it, I get it that you got to find knocks on guys because you don't want to see like you creating a perfect player when he isn't. But you can talk about technique, hand placement, all this shit. Arm length to me is crazy, but that's another story for another day. But I think the Patriots won the draft overall, so they my pick for the AFC. But the NFC, I'm going a different direction, man. I got to give it to Carolina, man. I think Carolina had a hell of a draft, bro. Like they went out and got Territorial McMillan. By many accounts, people believe this was the best receiver in the draft. They went and got
Mm-hmm.
Nick Skirton, the DN from Texas A&M. In my opinion, damn good edge rusher. They needed a lot of that, and they went and also got Princely, another dude who's a pretty solid DN. Maybe he can become a starter eventually. Good motor, sets the edge well. I think he could play well, but I just think the Panthers really hit it out the park with their draft, man. They addressed a lot of needs, but on top of them addressing, they filled a lot of holes with talent. So I just feel as if they're moving in the right direction now, finally. Because as we all know, Bryce Young wasn't really in the limelight or in the ideal situation as people believed he should have gotten. And even when he did have opportunities to try to make something happen, he didn't really, capitalize on those opportunities. So to see them go out and have the draft they had with the decent free agency they had, I think I think it says a lot. I think the Panthers are going to challenge for this division sooner than later because this division has been open for years. So we're gonna see
Definitely.
how
I think
it plays out.
I think with the Panthers, with give or take everything, they have the. I know their division is the Bucks, the Saints, the
And the Falcons,
Falcons,
yeah,
Bucks, Saints, Falcons, and them. So
yeah.
I say their receiver room is number three. They got a number three receiving room. Cause I'm not gonna lie, Mike Evans, Godwin, Igbuka, I think that's number one with Drake London. I forgot who else Atlanta got on the off the top of my head.
They
Drake
got
London. Who else?
my boy from Chicago last season. Um,
Calvin. Not Calvin really.
well, no, wait, I can't think of the name right now.
That's what I'm saying. Like, bro, I know their receiver room is pretty solid,
I don't know. I
but I
can't. It's
think
gonna kill me.
but
Darnell
I
Mooney.
think
There we go. I don't know why I
there we
couldn't
go.
think of
Yeah,
it.
Darnell Mooney, and then even Bijan as a receiving threat. You get me? And then
Yeah, and plus they got another. Don't forget they got two pretty damn good running backs, man. Because
hmm
Tyler Algier could play too, man.
and then the Saints. I'm not even gonna count the Saints because who knows what the future is with Olave, even the quarterback. We're not even counting them. But Xavier
Yeah,
Leggett, we still got to see what the narrative is on him. He's up and down. Adam Thielen is getting up there in age. He's still serviceable, but he's not that guy that came out of Minnesota. You get me? That was
yeah,
and then Ted McMillan. Even though he's nice, he's looked at as Mike Evans 2.0. We don't know what he will be in the NFL. You get me?
right,
Because college and
right.
NFL are
Still,
two different games.
you still got to put film out there, right?
So yeah, I say their receiver room is number three in that division, but that division is definitely up for grabs. Even though I got Tampa Bay running away with it, because let's just be honest, for what it's worth, Baker Mayfield is gonna sling that ball. He's gonna throw that
Yeah,
damn ball, and
Baker has found a true home in Tampa. He has.
and even with Chris Godwin, he can slowly rehab now. There's no reason to rush him back now. You can get Igbook, and I forgot they got what's their receiver name? McMillan. I think his name is McMillan as well. They have there.
You talking
They
about
have a
Boku?
McMillan. No. In Tampa Bay, they have a receiver there. number one. I think what's his
Oh, you
name?
talking about the rookie they had last year?
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
nice and
yeah,
slow.
Yeah, it's McMillan. Yeah, yeah,
So yeah, not Chris Godwin can take his time in rehab. You have a receiving room of Emeka Egbuka, who's even though he got overshadowed by Jeremiah Smith at Ohio State, he got overshadowed by a generational freshman, but he's
yeah,
a damn good receiver. Like he's a damn good receiver. Mike
yeah,
Evans
yeah.
is
He can
Mike
play.
Evans. So yeah, bro, they got and Bucky Urban as a receiving threat. So bro, they got it. They got it going on, man. I
Yeah,
expect to see a
Bucky
lot of
Irvin, Rasheed
improvement.
White out the backfield. Yeah, and they tight
And
end that they got too decent.
Cade out and Cade, damn, I'm
Okay,
forgetting
yep.
everybody. And did you see they signed that kid from Florida? He's like 490 pounds.
Yeah,
Nose guard.
that D
And put him
tackle. Yeah, I
with
see.
put him
With
with
Vita
Vita
Vea.
Vea, bro.
Mhm.
Hey, I don't know, man. Hey.
I mean, hey, it's gonna be tough, but like I said, the Panthers are moving in the right direction, man. I like that
Yeah,
they
they definitely
re-signed
are.
J.C. Horn. They went out and got secondary help. They went and got linebacker here. They got Pat. I think it's Pat Brown, the second from the Vikings. Gave him a 2-year deal. They went and got the Pro Bowl safety from the Raiders from last season. So they're making moves to go in the right direction. I'm not saying they're definitively going to compete for the division next year, but I would not be shocked at all if they made a run for it. Like they're making good moves. I mean, hell, Chuba Hubbard has come into his own. He's been playing better. I mean, he got to fix the little he got to fix the little fumbling issues as well. But I still think he's a damn good player. I think he's serviceable. But at the end of the day, what matters most for the Panthers at this point, they have to make sure Bryce Young continues to develop the way he did closing out last season, because he looked damn good closing the season last year. So if they could just expand on that, this division, like I said, this division wide open, man. It's no definitive winner of the division. I mean, the closest you got to it is the Buccaneers, but that's an Asian team. I mean, Mike Evans is getting older, Chris Godwin is getting older. You know, that my boy Levante David ain't gonna get any younger. So this is a team that's some of their best players are getting up there in age. So we're gonna see.
Definitely.
But all that being said, man, let's get off into the NBA news, man. Let's talk about the let's talk about the playoffs so far. We're gonna start with the Lakers. Lakers got eliminated the night before. I mean last night. Was it last night or the night before? Whichever one. But
Uh,
they got eliminated 4-1. Minnesota closed it out in Los Angeles. Anthony Edwards didn't have a great game. The Wolves as a whole didn't have a great game outside of Rudy Gobert, who looked like prime Shaquille O'Neal for whatever reason. And
that was Rudy Will
that primary
Chamberlain.
reason was the Lakers just yeah, the Lakers just did not have any answers for him. They didn't have no center, no size. It was evident that that was going to be a problem throughout the season for them and coming to the playoffs. I just didn't expect them to run it. Honestly, the Wolves were a terrible matchup for them, and for them to run into them, it was terrible for them. So, with all that being said, though, bro, let me just ask you this: what's next for the Lakers? Like, where do they go from here?
Um, the Lakers, honestly, they're in trouble, man. And I'm gonna tell you why they're in trouble. Because when the AD trade happened, I told people instantly, Luca didn't get traded because of what he is. He got traded because of what he's not. When the whole question around Luca was never, what can he give you? Can he stuff the stat sheet? The thing was his effort and his dedication to being in shape. Luca Luca doesn't try on defense, bro. It's not that he can't. It's not that he doesn't have the frame. He just doesn't. He doesn't try, bro. His effort on the defensive end is just not there, which is okay because I've seen teams make runs where their stars weren't defensive stoppers. Like if you remember that one year when Isaiah Thomas was with the Celtics and he was going on this, this rampage going 30 points and he finished like number 3 in MVP votes. He wasn't a defensive
Yeah,
stopper, but you have to put a team around him to hide him. But eventually it got
Yeah,
exposed. It got exposed. You know, he was too little. He couldn't guard anybody. They search him out and pick on him. And that's what happened against a lot of games and what happened against the Timberwolves. Because I don't know if you saw, yeah, the Timberwolves didn't have a good game, but coming down the floor, it was ISO. Mike Conley's going to work on Luca. He's going to blow by him. If the defender collapses, alley to Rudy Gobert. It's ISO. Julius Randle had
yeah.
like almost 28, I think 27, 28 points. And he was ISOing Luca all day. And he was in foul trouble as well. So for him to be in
Mhm.
foul trouble, remember he sat majority. I think he sat like 8 minutes in the second quarter because he was in foul trouble. He had three early fouls, and then second half it was all straight barbecue chicken. Luca,
Mhm.
Anthony Edwards, you know he was just screen and roll. Let's get Luca on the island, see what we can do. Now, mind you, Luca scored 28 points. Luca's always going to give you 28 to 30 points, but whoever he guards or whoever picks on him, they're going to combine for 35 to 40 points. That's just the way it is with them, bro. And it was the way that my Boston Celtics, that's the way we won the championship. Jalen Brown, do your thing. We're gonna ISO, give you Luka, and you just pick at him, you just go at him. Moving forward, the Dallas Mavericks literally got rid of Luka, and they played one less playoff series than the Lakers. So this season with an injured AD. So this season for a trade off, it wasn't bad for them. Now you got Luca moving
Okay.
forward. You got Luca moving forward. LeBron, I think maybe LeBron is done after this year, bro. I think I think he just walks it off into the sunset, bro. There's nothing left for him to prove. I think he's done. So now the question is, what can you do? How do you rebuild the Lakers now? Because you're basically the Dallas Mavericks now. You have Luka Doncic. You're gonna offer him a big contract. Austin Reeves is gonna be there. Austin Reeves is gonna be his Kyrie light or something like that. Bigs, you have Jackson Hayes. Like, what do you do for a big? Like, where do you go? What's your angle? Like, you literally just transformed yourself into the Dallas Mavericks. You threw some shit against the wall and hope that it stuck. Getting rid of AD, and now the Mavericks have AD moving forward. Kyrie, they're not gonna rush his ACL, surgery or anything like that. They have Gafford and Lively. They have Spencer Dinwiddie to run their point. They have pieces there where they can be serviceable until Kyrie gets back and hold it down. But I just don't see the Lakers making a drastic change that makes them title contenders next year. Like they're literally what the Mavericks were. They're literally what they are because they just literally took Luka Doncic and that's your guy moving forward. Now you have to literally constructually build everything back together piece by piece. If you can somehow work some black magic and get Giannis over there, cool. You got it. Lakers in five. You got it. You good. But I don't know. I just don't see Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves, and Rui Hachimura, Dalton Connect, and Bronny being a perennial playoff team in the West. Because I think LeBron's finished after this year, bro. No lie.
Hmm. I mean, if he is finished, then let's operate off both scenarios. If he is done, because there was a report saying that he's not done, but it was other reports saying that he's going to discuss it with his family and stuff like this and make a decision. I think more than likely he comes back for one more year. But let's say both scenarios, right? If LeBron doesn't come back, if he's done, I think the Lakers are going to have to, for one, they're going to have to find another consistent second option because as good as Austin Reeves has been this year, and I'll be the first to admit I didn't think he'll be this damn good. As good as he's been, he's far too inconsistent, and he's not an aggressive enough player, in my opinion, to be your second best scoring option. He's just not. You need something else. And that's not to say you need to go out and get Devin Booker. You need to go out and get KD, Giannis. Like you don't need that per se. But what you do need another shot creator. You can go get a guy like the caliber of someone like De'Aaron Fox or someone like I don't know, let's say Kate Cunningham s kind of players who are pretty good scorers, can get inside and score all three levels, play pretty good perimeter defense. and help take off some of that stress from Luka. But the thing the Lakers need to prioritize is they need more 3 and D wings. They need more 3 and D wings, and they need a big. They need a big. I mean, regardless if LeBron comes back or not, those are the things they need to address. If they can address those things, then I think they'll be fine. Because I seen Luka go to the finals with that exact lineup. I mean, he went to the finals with 3 and D guys and big men. Like none of them was spectacular at what they did. It was just good enough, and it was good enough to get them to the finals. So it's not that it will be a shit show for them. It's a matter of them being able to find the pieces, and that's to me that's not going to be impossible. I don't think that should be hard. It's LA at the end of the day. People want to play in LA. Some people don't like the bright lights. That's fair. That's true. But others embrace it, and some of them want to go play with Luka. Some of them want to go play with Braun if he does come back. So it just all depends on. Honestly, it just all depends on the Lakers and how aggressive they approach free agency. But the biggest thing to me, in my personal opinion, like you alluded to, my boy, is Luka's conditioning. I will give him this. He did lose weight coming from the Mavs to the Lakers. I don't know if that's because he got back in shape. He was hurt for the time he was with Dallas to start the season, or whatever the case may be. But I was talking about this with my barber the other day. You get me?
Yeah, I can hear you, bro. I can hear you.
All right, but I had told him, I had said, if Luca doesn't figure it out this season, working next to a 40-year-old LeBron James, who's we've never questioned if he's ever in shape, if his conditioning is good, nothing. If he doesn't get it figured out, working out alongside this dude to get in better shape, to take care of himself, to eat a little bit better, to get ready for the season and last the long haul. If he doesn't figure it out with this dude next to him, then he never will. It just never will happen at that point. But if he does, I think the Lakers will be fine. I think they'll be fine. I'm not sure what the Mavs gonna get on out of there with Kyrie and AD. I mean, they both at this point, in my opinion, are just they're aging stars who you don't know a one bad bump can lead to 6 to 8 week injury. So you just don't know. I mean, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it plays out. But I think the Lakers should be fine as long as they can have those obvious issues work out in their favor. And I don't think they're impossible. That's why I think they're not really just in trouble just yet. But if Luka can't get his conditioning together, I think there will be issues further down the road for sure.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I think the only problem is that people look at it like when people say, okay, these young guys come in and learn from vets, right? And the vets are responsible for molding and shaping them. I think at this point, Luca is what he is because people forget Luca has been playing pro ball since he was 14.
Yeah.
So he's been around grown ass men. He's been doing this like he was a pro before he was a pro. So it's like I don't think him coming in and working with LeBron. LeBron is gonna mold the shit. Yeah, LeBron can give him insight and stuff, but at this point, I think he's pretty much set in stone of who he is. Like Luca been drinking beers after games, and Luca just been who he is, bro. He's never been that type of guy that's been locked in. Okay, let me get in shape because it's been so easy for him for so long. Even though this narrative been on him for so long, he's been averaging 30, putting up triple doubles, and he went to the NBA finals with all this stigma on him. So I think at this point, bro, it is what he's just who he is, bro, and you just have to do your best to build around what he's not.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. I mean, because we've seen what he has been the past couple of years. That's You're not wrong about that. But the thing is, the only pushback I give to that is we've seen proven older players, not old, but older players, vets who have shown the ability and the capabilities of changing their habits in order to get to another level. I mean, we seen this recently with Nikola Jokic. I mean, yes, Jokic was good, but he didn't really hit this undisputed best player in the world status until he got in better shape. Because a lot of people was talking about it. They were saying like he looks gassed in the fourth quarter in the series against the Lakers when they lost in the Western Conference Finals, or he looked gassed in the series against the Clippers where Jamal Murray had to put a cape on and pretty much saved the day in that series to help them come back and win that series. After that, his diet changed. He lost, I believe, almost 80 pounds or some shit like that. And he became a much more conditioned player in order to be greater than what he already was. So I'm not gonna just write it off Luka just yet. That's why I said I'm gonna give him this summer. If it don't work this summer, working out alongside this dude who's been at the pinnacle of of an athlete career that we've ever seen in terms of just peak athleticism and conditioning, which is, and we all know that's what LeBron prides himself on. He said this multiple times. If he can't learn to take care of himself better from this guy and for it to actually pan out, then at that point I just don't know what to tell him. I mean, do you have no better mentor than LeBron James to help you with conditioning and, you feel me, just overall just taking care of your health and your well-being in terms of being the best player you possibly could be on the court. If he can't help you with that, then there's nothing else that can be done. I'm just be honest. Because Anthony Davis has credited LeBron with the same stuff. He said he showed him how to be a professional, take care of your body, you know, go to the sauna after practice, steam, stretch, do all these different things that AD said he never did in his life, and it helped him immensely in his career at this point. So we gonna see, man. We're gonna see.
I definitely think that's fair. I agree. I'll say the only thing on that is we've never once in life said, you know what, damn, Anthony Davis look out of shape. He looks sloppy. The only thing we said was that nigga just he's brittle. He's injury prone. That's it.
Yeah.
Luca, we've said this man look chubby. He look sloppy. He look which I'm not gonna lie. I give him credit for because even with all that hanging on his head, he was still going out there giving dudes triple doubles and all this stuff. But to be that dominant figure to lead a team to a title, he hasn't put himself in that he hasn't put himself in the best places, which is crazy because bro, like even though we're just talking just regular shape, but for basketball shape, he's so damn good that even with the subpar frame or not ideal athleticism or anything, he's still balling, bro. Like he's still top five player in the world with the dad frame. Like he's doing it with the dad bod, man. Shout out Luca.
Man, it's crazy because he actually was athletic as shit at one point. He just he just let it go.
I think he got the Dallas man, and Mark Cuban Mark Cuban is that he's that player friendly coach. He's gonna give you whatever you want. He's gonna pamper you. He's gonna look out. He's
Yeah,
gonna. So I think Luca maybe got some of that
yeah.
Dallas
Nigga learned
barbecue,
he learned
man.
what processed food was and ate some
Yeah,
wings and it was just over. That's what it.
and cause my boy was already drinking beer, so he got his beers, got his wings in, and just went crazy. I don't know if you
Yeah, it was
remember
over.
when Kyrie came to Dallas. You remember he got a personal chef to follow around the team specifically just for Kyrie for Ramadan
Yeah,
and to cook his vegan
yeah,
meals and all that. And so that's crazy, bro. Mark Cuban is a hell of a owner, a hell of a businessman. So I know Luca just went out there and just went on the bench, bro. But we'll see how it goes.
yeah, for sure, for sure. But in other news, man, one of the greatest coaches in all of cross sports had retired today, man. Greg Pop. You know, Greg Pop, in my opinion, is the best NBA coach this game has ever seen. I know a lot of people are gonna give pushback, but that's just how I feel about it. Phil Jackson, all these other guys, um, they can feel how they feel. I think Pop the best to ever do it. He created a dynasty, 5 NBA titles. I believe he had what it was, 8 NBA finals appearances. Never had a losing season up until the Spurs just became an absolute train wreck. He built some of the greatest legacies of players we've ever seen. Tim Duncan, of course, David Robinson, of course, Manu, Tony. Like we're talking about Hall of Famers, Kawhi Leonard. So shout out to Pop, man. I gotta give him his flowers, man. Anything you want to say about that, bro?
Yeah, man. I just think it's definitely time with him getting older. He's moving up to the front office position, so you know, I think with his health in line, that that position is like a little less stressful on him. Like he doesn't have to be down there like ripping and running with the young guns and everything, but he's still hands on in the team's development. You remember he was doing both at one period in time. He was
Yeah, he was. He was doing
oh
it for
yeah,
like the past 2 years or something like that.
I think it was longer than that, bro. It was longer.
No, I'm saying like he was making like more decisions based that was
Oh
based off
yeah,
of the team versus like just being involved. You get what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Like he was basically doing the Belichick basically. The
Yeah,
Belichick
exactly.
type role.
Yeah,
So I think
yeah,
this is going to be better for him. He can mentor the coach as well. So I think this is just a switch of position and just face value only because I know they're still going to go to him as far as like okay, how do we manage Wemby because he was the one that started load management. Like how do we manage Wemby? Like how do we get the best out of our players? Like defensive sets and everything, and mindset and what it means to be a Spur and all that. So I think it's pretty much going to be the same thing. He just won't be as just the name. That's the only thing that changed. Just the job title. I think he's pretty much still going to be there. He's still once you get that fire burning in you of being a coach and everything, it never goes away. So he's going to be down there in practices, viewing everything, like having input. So I'm happy for him, you know, that he can semi-retire because that fire just doesn't go away that quick. You get me? He's still going to be down there. He still wants to be a part of the game. I'm just glad, San Antonio is still sticking with him after many years of great service. So, congratulations, Greg Popovich. Best wishes on the health. I know he's coming back off of a health scare. Best wishes on the health and moving forward for him.
yeah, for sure. Best wishes to Pop, man. Man, I hope when he does eventually, retire, I hope he enjoys retirement just as much as he enjoyed his career. But let's get off into the next topic I wanted to discuss, man. And it's a discussion of centered around Giannis and what's next for him. I mean, as we know, Giannis, if I'm not mistaken, he has not won a playoff series in 3 years. This is coming off of him winning a ring, and the team just has not been the same since. They got bounced by the Heat the first round one year, then they went back, got bounced again, and that's now we coming back full circle to the Pacers this season. So is it? And I'm gonna just say this, man. I think it's over. I think he needs to go ahead. You given the city what they could ask for, all they could ask for, man. You giving them 7 years. You gave them a ring. You brought the trophy back to the city. You gave them you gave them a discount to go try to get you another superstar. Yes, I know he ran one of the way he contributed to running a coach out the building who was a good coach at the time for them to bring in Doc Rivers, who everyone knows how I feel about Doc Rivers at this point. I mean, I think he's overrated hot garbage, but whatever. But you brought in Doc, didn't work out. You brought in Dame, didn't work out. I think it's time. I think it's time to let it go. I think it's time for him to expand his horizon and move on from Milwaukee. But what's your thoughts, bro? What you think?
Yeah, I definitely think it's time for him to go. If I was him, I will work behind the scenes with coaches, management, and everything to try to get the best trade package to set the Bucks up for the future because just out of loyalty because Giannis was on nobody's radar when he first came in. I don't know if you remember. Like nobody
Yeah,
cared about this skinny kid from Greece, and Milwaukee did everything right by him. This is one of the instances where I can say they can make a amicable split because you remember, they funded his green pass for him to go back and forth for his parents. 'Cause I think his relative, one of his relatives passed away, or they were like really
Yeah,
sick. So
yeah,
they did that. They signed the Nasses. They kept the Nasses around only because of Giannis. They tried with his little brother, tried him on the development team. They gave him roster input. Okay, this is what you want. This is what you want. This is what we're gonna do. Now, in turn, Giannis balled out. Giannis upheld at the end of the bargain. He took everything serious. Took his conditioning serious. Put on muscle. Became a better player. Worked on perfecting his craft. So it was a hand in hand. He's literally like the LeBron of Cleveland, like how LeBron is to Cleveland, Giannis is to Milwaukee. That's their homegrown superstar. They took their chance on that kid, and he developed into a man in front of them. He had his family there. Like I said, behind the scenes, they sit, they chop it up back and forth. Okay, I would like to go here. Let them get in contact with other teams, try to propose trades where they can get fair compensation for Giannis. You give me, even if it's a three-team trade, like something like how that Dwight Howard to LA trade went. I don't know if you remember it.
yeah,
They
yeah,
sent
yeah. I
they
remember.
signed Bynum to the Sixers, sent
Hmm.
Howard to the Lakers, and then draft picks back and forth. It was a huge trade. Or how they did Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce from the Nets
I'm about to
to,
say you could have bought a KG and Paul Pierce.
yeah, like that, like a trade like that, and I think it'll be really good. It doesn't have to be like an amicable, like a like a messy breakup or something, because they both were good to each other. This is the rare instance where I can say both parties were good to each other. So,
Yeah, I
yesterday,
agree with that.
yeah. So yeah, they can definitely go that route, bro. Definitely, I don't see any reason to have a nasty breakup between the two.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that because, like I said, man, I think you got the championship. And listen, let me say this before we get off this topic, since I'm talking about the championships. For those who I don't know how you feel about this, Breeze, but this is how I feel about it, right? Because I plan on making this a clip. For those who sit here and say guys like Giannis, LeBron, it's specifically more so LeBron and his team with the Lakers, that they failed these teams and it's been a failure since he's joined all this other stuff. I'm convinced that you started watching basketball 2 months ago because there's no way you're gonna sit here and tell me a guy failed a team after he brought a championship to the team, gave them two conference finals appearances, on top of the fact they made the playoffs multiple seasons with him. And before he came, this was a poverty franchise. Let's be honest, the Lakers was a shit show. There was a lottery pick team. They couldn't get a record above 500, and they couldn't even get a winning season, let alone a record above 500. They couldn't get a winning season. They couldn't win 30 games. But people would tell me that he failed the Lakers. That this Lakers team is a failure. Just like how some people would tell you that Giannis, if he leaves Milwaukee, they'll still sit there and say, "Oh, why would he lead a team that they've done everything by him that he could ask for?" Because it hasn't worked. That's why he's leaving. It hasn't worked. Like if it's not gonna work and he still wants to compete for titles, that means he has to go somewhere else to do it. I mean, at the end of the day, man, I'm not saying Giannis should just go in there and demand anything from anyone. He shouldn't. If it does not need to get to that point, he needs to go in there and let them know, like, listen, I gave you all I could for 7 years, 8 years. I gave it all to you. You asked for me to be better, I got better. You asked for me to work on my jumper, I worked on it. It ain't great, but I worked on it. It's better than for what it was. You asked me to get better condition and shape, I did it. You asked me to take pay cuts so we could re-sign other guys, I did it. I didn't sign top dollar money. I let other guys eat. We went and got Dame. Yeah, I wanted Dame, but you all said that it was going to work. It didn't. So now that it didn't, we got to move on. I got to move on. So like what? We need to work out a deal that's best for both of us. So it's just mind-boggling to me how some people would sit there and try to paint it out as if these guys failed in their years with these teams when they've won championships. It's teams that don't even have finals appearances in the last 15 years. But these dudes who won championships failed. It's absolutely absurd to me. It's absurd.
Yeah, man. People are fucking idiots, man. Honestly, because if you look at it from God rest his soul, from the moment Kobe passed away, well, from the moment Kobe retired, the Lakers were still in purgatory from when Kobe was there. Remember, Kobe was taking big
Because
ass.
that contract he
Kobe was
had was
taking big ass
yeah,
contracts, even way
that
more
contract
for
he had
some
was acting with purgatory.
for somebody who loved the Lakers and who was Lakers this and Lakers that. Kobe was getting his money and fucking the Lakers in the process because the only thing he did that season for the Lakers was increase revenue because of that. Okay, this is it tour. That's it.
Yeah, farewell
But
tour.
moving
Yeah,
forward, but moving forward, he didn't do the Lakers any favors. No, nothing like that. And they were in shit show. They were okay. D'Angelo Russell drafting him didn't work. They got Lonzo Ball, Bi, Kuzma, all this stuff. They got all that stuff. And yeah, you spent high draft picks on them. But let's be real, that core was not going to get you to a championship in the Western Conference that was thriving
it
with
never got him to the
gold,
playoffs. It
that
never
was
got him to the
thriving,
playoffs.
bro, that was thriving with the Warriors, the Rockets, like that. So they shipped all that away. You can say, okay, you traded away your future, but you traded away your future to win a championship, and they got a championship out of it. And you got some pretty damn good years out of LeBron and AD. Now, mind you, did the league catch up? Yeah, the league catch up, but you still won a championship. And it's not that far away that you won a championship. Now you have a reset, and you have LeBron that's gonna mentor your future star in Luka Doncic. And if you build around him, you'll be right back in championship contention. In the Eastern Conference with Giannis, think about the Celtics. Think about it. If you want to say that the Giannis Bucks has been a failure, you can say the Celtics road has been a failure because we've had a bunch of teams that were able to get there, but we didn't get there. We lost in the finals to the Warriors. We lost in the conference finals to the Heat. We had years where we should have won it all, but we didn't. But we got one, and you can't win every single year. So just the mere fact that you won one championship in a span of 5, 6 years, that's a win. It only takes one championship or success to wipe away everything else, bro. Like literally,
Right,
like the Raptors are going to be asked for the next 5 or 6 years. But that one championship that they won with Kawhi validates all
right,
those losses,
exactly,
all those losses that they had when LeBron. They literally
exactly.
named Toronto LeBronto because they couldn't beat LeBron. So that one
Yeah,
championship with Kawhi validates everything that they did. They traded away their homegrown superstar DeMar DeRozan. They traded away Pascal Siakam. They traded away Lowry. They got rid of all this stuff. They rebooted, started fresh. But what happened? They won a championship. Man, people just need to go on, man. People expect to see a three-peat or 4 rings in 5 years for it to be successful. No,
yeah.
you win
The
one
league is
ring.
too talented for that now, man.
Yeah, you win one ring, bro. You're good. You're great. I guarantee you right now, if the Dallas Cowboys win one championship, every mistake Jerry Jones made will be forgotten. Every
Yes, it
every last
would.
one of them.
Absolutely, because
It will all be
that's
worth
the
it.
beauty. That's the beauty and the madness behind the sports fan, the sports world. Like they will love you to no end when you make them happy or when you win, and they will hate you to the ends of the earth when you don't meet their expectation. Like that's the beauty of the sports world and entertainment industry we live in. Because for whatever reason,
Exactly.
man, people just create these narratives that you expect certain players and certain people to just live to a standard when they doing their job, right? And I get it. I'm not sitting here telling you the Lakers season this year wasn't a fair because it absolutely was. When you're a third seed and you lose to a sixth seed, that's a failed season in my opinion. Just like how I
Hmm.
believe it was a failed season for the Bucks the year that they lost to the Heat as a play-in team. The Heat. That's a failed season. But at the end of the day, if we're talking about these dudes' tenure, these 7 years they've been here, and we're saying they failed, is insane. Because we sit here and say dudes like DeMar DeRozan had a pretty damn good career, but no one says he's a failure. No one says DeMar is a failure. No one says Zach LaVine is a failure. They just say they're good players who have not won. No one said Charles Barkley's career was a failure. Charles Barkley is a league MVP. Went to the finals. He never won it, but he went. No one says he's a failure. They say he's a great player. He's a Hall of Famer. You don't. Whenever you win championships, man, you will never convince me that that player or that team or whoever failed. You would never convince me of that because it just doesn't make sense. They accomplished the ultimate goal. So what are we talking about?
Man, people just casuals, man. Literally.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's
Like
casual
I said,
taste.
man, at the end of the day, that one championship will wipe away everything.
Yeah,
Like for me, I'm not gonna lie with Jim Irsay, man. If honestly, if Tyler Warren pans out to what I think he can be, I'll forgive him for selecting a raw project in the top four pick that should have dropped to like the second or third round. I forgive him if Tyler Warren can come in and be that that intermediate piece to help take his game to the next level and unlock that potential and those intangibles. I will forgive him for that because when you think about it, we're literally scratching a scratching playoff team with a terrible quarterback. We literally dropped out of the playoff because of one game because our quarterback situation was honestly the worst I've ever seen. I've never seen a worse quarterback situation, bro. Literally, the man can't hit. He can't throw a dime in the ocean, bro.
yeah,
Literally. So, just that success, even if you gotta, no matter how you get to it, that success wipes away all failure.
yeah. I agree. I think it's I think it's absurd, and I think first of all, let me say I would never forget Jim Irsay. I would never forget what he did to Andrew Luck. That's just me
Bruh,
though.
bruh,
I'll never
bruh.
forget him. But
I was just chopping it up with one of my boys, man. And I had to let him look. He told me the same thing. He was like, bro, you don't feel like Ursay felt luck. I said, yeah, bro, I definitely feel like that because I don't know if you remember, he was going straight skill position. Like he was, bro. He brought in fucking Andre Johnson, uh, Frank Gore, all these
yeah,
damn
Frank Gore. Yeah,
relics, all these damn relics instead of investing in the O line. But I don't know if you remember coming out of college, Andrew Luck's one of his red flags, even though he was before Trevor Lawrence, he was the most perfect prospect after John Elway. Was it John Elway or it was John Elway?
dude.
It was John
I'm about to
Elway.
say Peyton was stouted, and
Yeah,
if I
John
had to say
Elway.
though, I think Andrew Luck was probably the most.
Yeah,
He
he
was
was
the most
considered
polarized
generational.
prospect. I think. Yeah,
It was John Elway, then I think Peyton, then I think Luck, and then I think it was Trevor Lawrence that they had on those like on a pedestal.
yeah,
But
yeah.
coming
And
out of
Caleb
college,
Williams
his
recently.
hmm coming out of college, his thing was he was a turnover machine and he took too much contact. Like bro, he was trucking linebackers since college. Like he would never slide. Never. He would fight for those extra yards. Like he was on some kamikaze stuff, bro. So he help the cause? No. Did we help the cause? Of course not. But did he help the cause? No. Cause bro, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. My man's was running through DBs and linebackers trying to get extra yards, but Ursay didn't invest in protecting him. So it was a 50-50. It was a 50-50 exchange, man. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. It
I
hurt
don't know
Hard,
about 50-50. I give you
bro. That
70. I give you 80-20. I give you 80
but
20.
that's my guy, bro. But think about it, man. Think about it, man. As a quarterback, man, if you trucking linebackers and DBs, you eventually gonna get hurt, man.
Nah. That's absolutely facts. You're not wrong about that. He did take unnecessary risks and hits. I won't deny that. But again, he was sacked the most out of any quarterback in
Yeah,
a 4 year stretch by far. It wasn't even close. Like that's
that's
what
why I
makes it
said it was.
worse.
That's why I said it
He
was
had he had
50-50, man.
60 more sacks than the next closest guy. That's not because he running into people. That's because people in his face.
Did
He
you
had
see his
100
injury
more
list?
QB hits than the next guy, 60 more sacks than the next guy, a plethora more pressures than the next guy. Hey, that's ownership. That's GMs. That's a
But
terrible old line.
did you see his
Listen,
injury list though?
huh?
Did you see his injury list?
Yeah, man,
Bro, he
Andrew,
had a
man.
separated shoulder, torn abdomen, lacerated kidney, bruised pancreas, fractured ribs.
Yeah,
Bro,
it
but
was
man
bad,
was
man. I mean, I love Andrew Luck, though. Man, Andrew Luck was probably my favorite quarterback prospect ever. I loved everything about Andrew Luck, and I was a big RG3 guy. But even with me being a big RG3 fan, I was huge on Andrew Luck. That was my guy, man. I love watching him play the game, and it hurt me to see him retire at the age he did because I knew he was a real student of the game. He loved football. I know he did. So to see him walk away the way he did, it honestly just really just it hurt me as a football fan. I'm not a Colts fan or nothing like that, but as a football fan, it hurt me because it's like these are the type of dudes you want to see play this game at the highest level for a long time. And he was, I'm not gonna say he was robbed of that opportunity because he wasn't, but it felt like he was because
it
his
definitely.
he just did not get the necessities around him he should
Hmm.
have had until it was already over. I mean, the Colts fixed the offensive line after he already had 20,000 injuries. So it's unfortunate, man. Me personally, I understand my brother. You a Colts fan. You ain't got no choice. Me, I will never forgive Jim Irsay for what he did to Andrew Luck. I would never do it.
Yeah, man, I give him hell. I give him hell for that as well, bro. It hurt. It definitely hurt, man, cause I ain't gonna lie, and it's funny to me, cause at the time, when my brother was alive, he's a Patriots fan. So mind you, bro, since kids, we was always Peyton and Tom, Peyton and Tom, Peyton and Tom, Peyton and Tom, Peyton and Tom. Peyton leaves, we have that down year. We get Andrew Luck. I feel like yo, we back in the limelight. Then the Deflategate happened. Then my boy Luck retired. Then we back and shit. I'm like, oh Lord have mercy, bro. But hey, man, I'm glad to see Andrew Luck got his joy back. He's coaching at Stanford.
Yeah,
I'm glad to see my boy
yeah.
got his
I,
joy
I
back
was
and
I was glad
everything.
to see it too, man. He back doing what he was doing. I know he was. I know he was on. He was a guest a lot of times. If not, he was an analyst on ESPN for college football. I seen that, and I see he did get a job at Stanford. So I'm glad he getting back into what he loved, man. That's beautiful. But it's just, I just can't help but think what could have been, man. He was a damn good player, man. And
For real,
it's
man.
just unfortunate. It was just unfortunate. But
Yeah, it was a teary moment,
with
bro.
all
I had
that
to
being
drop some
said,
tears,
man.
bro.
With all that being said, man, my last question to you, Breeze, before we close out the show is: do you think Shador Sanders can start Week 1 for the Browns?
Uh, no, I'm gonna say no. Only not because even skill wise or nothing like that. I just think Kevin Stefanski, what he's gonna do is he's gonna roll with the vet for maybe 3 4 weeks or 4 or 5 weeks or something like that, just to get the new guys caught up to speed and everything. And I think when Joe Flacco, he just eventually has that Joe Flacco fall off. Then he'll insert his next guy up because Kenny Pickett isn't beating anybody for the starting job. Um, so it's literally between Shador Sanders and Will and Dylan Gabriel. And I think Shador Sanders is the better of the two quarterbacks. But I think with Kevin Stefanski, I think he knows how delicate the situation is. Being a coach who was a coach of the year, I think he knows how fragile confidence can be. Even though Shador is a confident kid, um, confidence is everything in a rookie. So I'm pretty sure he doesn't want to throw him out there. He'd rather throw Joe Flacco out there. Joe Flacco has been around the league. You're not gonna hurt Joe Flacco's ego. Joe Flacco knows he's just there for a good time, not a long time. So let the young guys get caught up to speed, let them get acclimated and everything. If he has to, sprinkle them in every now and then, like even if they use Shador and Dylan Gabriel, like how the Steelers were using Justin Fields, like you sprinkle them in every now and then, just to get them acclimated or see where they are. You do that until like maybe week 4 or 5, and then you throw your quarterback one into the fire, which I think is going to be Shador. And then you go from there. But him starting week 1, I don't think they do that. I definitely think he's quarterback 2 on the depth chart. I think you roll with just Joe Flacco in the beginning, just because experience. But he's not your answer to your long term solution. I just think while you get Shador some time to catch up to the speed and rhythm of the pro game versus college, you keep him at quarterback too. Honestly, and honestly, it's not a bad position to be in because Cleveland, like I said, which is a big if they can put it all together, this team can be really damn good, even in a tough division. Because mind you, Steelers are ass. Um, the Bengals, they're just top heavy on offense. They're still gonna have to score 45 points a game to beat anybody. And then of course the
Mhm.
Ravens are the Ravens. The Ravens are gonna obviously be the top team in that division. So if Cleveland can put this together in the transition and the unraveling of Shador is the right way, they can have a good chance to make a playoff run, honestly, because Njoku is still a good tight end. Jerry Judy with Jameis Winston was going nuclear. I know they made good draft choice. What running back did they draft
They drafted
from
it's
UNC?
Chris.
Right?
Nah. That the UNC guy. That's the dude the Chargers drafted.
Oh, okay, okay,
Um,
okay, okay. But they drafted a solid running back as well.
yeah, they did Jukins, something like that.
Junkins, yeah, Junkins. And then of course defense. The Browns always have Miles Garrett on defense, and then they double down with a linebacker. I forgot his name is. I wanted him on Indy, but they doubled down. They got a solid linebacker. Their defensive core is looking good. So he has a team that was terrible last year, but made improvements to make big improvements this year. Like I think they won like what 3 games last year,
I think about 4-3.
3 or 4. So I think maybe they can probably if they handle it right and Stefanski coaches the way Stefanski coaches, they can possibly go to a 7-8 win team, which they can double up their win total from last year. I really,
I
I
mean,
really like it. I really
them
like it.
getting Mason Graham was big though. I think Mason Graham gonna come in to
I
be
forgot
big.
Mason Graham as well, bro. I forgot.
Yeah,
I
so
really like what they did.
yeah, they had a good draft. They had a good draft, but I don't know, man. I think personally, I don't. I agree with you. I don't think Shadur will come in and start day one, but I will not be surprised at all if he comes in after week 4. If the season isn't really going anywhere fast, I think they're gonna be like, okay, let's see what the young kid got, or let's see if he can help salvage anything. So I think that's what it's gonna come down to. My only thing is that I don't want him to be put in circumstances or situation where he's a late round pick. They're throwing him out there to see what he got, and if it does not work immediately, he's going to be tossed to the wayside because he is a late round pick now. And a lot of quarterbacks, they're giving time when they're younger to grow. He doesn't. He no longer has that luxury, in my opinion, because where he was taken, and that's the unfortunate thing about everything in terms of this. He's not gonna have 2 years, 3 years to figure it out. So we're gonna see. But that'll be it for the show tonight, guys. Appreciate those who tuned in tonight. We had a couple people pop in. Appreciate it as always. And someone had commented and said, "What about Luca?" I'm not really sure what you was speaking on, my man. But if it was had anything to do about what we was talking about his conditioning or his success in the league, if we was talking about other players, he's still, man, Luca's only 26 years old. We'll see. He still got another 10 years, 8 years, maybe. We'll 8, 10 years. We'll see. But you got anything you want to add before we head out, Breeze?
Nah, bro. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. You know, and we gonna keep getting to it, man.
For sure. And if you're not doing so already, guys, be sure to like, subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. Hit the bell notification. Be notified whenever we go live. And yeah, the handle is the same. Last Word Productions all over. So I see y'all in the next one, man. Peace.
Yo.